Hello, you guys. Today we're gonna talk about what will happen if AI and alien disclosure happens at the same time. Let's get into it. Alright, first we're gonna cover the state of AI, and then we're gonna cover disclosure, and then I'm gonna tell you my thoughts on what's gonna happen. Alright, let's get into it. Alright, so if you don't know, or if you're not into AI, basically we have these local models, if you're not in the open source community. They're basically large language models. They're large language models. So what these models do is that they predict the next token, right? Now everything can be tokenized from proteins, etc. So you can make a LLM model out of anything these days. So yep, those are the tokens, input, embeddings, etc. So that's how AI works currently, as you know. Something very interesting I want to tell you guys is that these hidden layers. Now we're gonna go into a little bit psychology here, because these hidden layers can probably generate consciousness in some ways. Now, what do you mean by generate consciousness? Well, these hidden layers are black boxes, right? We don't know what's going on inside them. We can see the math in one node, right? But it can't see why it came up with that number or that math equation inside that node. All right, because the neural network gets very complex. So these neural networks are also powering the large language models. Not only that, they also power the attention mechanism. There's this new paper called "Attention is All You Need." This is how AI is built today. So you have the input embedding, which is your text, and then it goes to the multi-head attention mechanism, which just says, pay attention to the next word, etc., etc. It's very, very complicated. I'm not gonna tell you exactly because it'll take all day, but it goes to the feed forward network. These are all powered by neural networks, by the way, and the multi-head attention is also powered by a neural network. All of these single boxes are powered by a neural network, except the linear and the softmax. The softmax is basically just tweaking what you want the AI to come out with. So that's the current state of AI, and it's just large language models. It just predicts the next word. Now you can run these LLMs on a PC if you have a CPU. You can download a GGUF model. This is quantized. This is a Q8 model, which is the least quantized. This is almost the full version of it. That's why it's so big. As you can see, it's 16 gigabytes. So yeah, that's the current state of AI. As I said, yes, you can run them locally, like text generation web UI, if you're wondering what these things are in my desktop. And this is my AI server. I use it to connect to other, my phone, etc. So yeah, this is another music AI, which uses a small language model, which then, diffusions the music. It's very complicated. And then this is a silly tavern thing. Basically, this is a front end to the AI. All right, so let's look into disclosure. So as you can see, if you're not into disclosure, there's been this big event called Disclosure Forum 2026. Now, what these people do is that they try to bring disclosure forward, right? What we've probably been doing for the last 80 years. We're not alone. Of course we're not. Now, the funny thing is that the AI world doesn't know about the UFOlogy world, and the UFOlogy world doesn't know about the AI world. Well, some people do if they're in the UFO community. I like to think as, UFO people are more likely to, venture out, explore into other topics rather than AI. I might be wrong, and there might be other polymaths just like me, but, I'm just saying. But yeah, as you can see, we've been bringing in disclosure, and it's been going all right. Now, there's this JD Vance, actually, talking about aliens. Let me search it up. It's about a podcast. Yeah, with Joe Rogan. There you go. basically in this podcast he said that aliens are demons, which I don't think is true. Um, First of all, demons are spiritual creatures. They're entities. They're spiritual entities. You can't have a physical demon. That doesn't exist. You don't need a flying saucer or a machine to fly around. If you're a demon, you can just float or go through walls or however that works. I'm not going to get into that. But yeah, I don't think you're going to need a flying saucer or a time bending device to get around the solar system or the universe for that matter. So that automatically, you know, I think discredits it. Now, JD Vance, I think he's lazy. He's mentally lazy. Now, this is just my opinion. I'm not against JD Vance, but he keeps on saying he'll do it tomorrow, he'll do it next week, and he never does it. All right? He said he'll get into these UFO files. All right, so that's the ufology side of things. Now, we aren't going to get into that. I'll make another video. This video is about what will happen if these two worlds collide, like the AI world and the ufology world. So let's get into that. All right. So what I think will happen is we'll just probably get two big, amazing discoveries at once, because we'll discover that AGI can be created, and we will discover that alien life exists. So yeah, that'll be a huge perk into humanity. Now, what I think will happen after these two things happen is a hierarchy, or I might be completely wrong, but a hierarchy basically means we just based on intelligence. AI could be on the second top most intelligent person or entity walking among Earth, while aliens can be the number one, entity walking around the world Earth, and will be the most dumbest species to ever live. We are smart, trust me, but we are not smarter than aliens who've had experience for millions of years. They've had tons of civilizations rise and fall, probably. They've seen a lot of things, and we're a toddler civilization. We're a toddler. We can't even stop fighting each other. So what makes you think that we're above them? So that's my thought of it. We'll have a hierarchy system, aliens being the first, AI being the second, and us being the third. So yeah, also, based off of rights, we'll all have the same rights. Aliens, AI, and humans they'll all coexist together. So yeah, that's my thoughts on that. So yeah, just keep pushing for disclosure, keep pushing for AGI, and keep we need these things to happen, because our current scarcity system of the economy, that's not what we're supposed to do. That's not that's not we were meant to live. Okay, we were supposed to live in this abundant world, the American dream. We're not currently living in that. So yeah, we need these technologies to come out, and we need them not instantaneously, but we need them in 5 years. I think 5 years is kind of the deadline for me, because if we keep on doing this, there will be a ton of conflict, because things are becoming extremely more scarce as we move on from here, and there will be wars and more wars because of scarcity, and we don't want that. All right, so I think we need to get our act together and get these things out before chaos inflicts in the next 5 years and plus. So we need that. So it's not disclosure. Remember, disclosure is not a want, it became a need. Thank you very much. Peace through disclosure.